us right this time and right here last week. A heated discussion about proposed changes to the party scene on South Beach brought some strong and varied reactions.
Boy, did it ever. There was support for police and code enforcement to control some unruly crowds and concerns about serving liquor late at night on Ocean Drive. The mayor wants to set up a 2 a.m. curfew year-round, but some critics saw that as racial discrimination and efforts to quell the crowds and crime. Miami Beach City leaders insist the focus is on ensuring public safety and enforcing the laws equally. But some say they are focusing too much on Memorial Day weekend, which draws large crowds for what has come to be known as Urban Beach Week, and most of those visitors are black. The leadership of the Miami chapter of the NAACP sent an email voicing concerns to the mayor of Miami Beach.
The vice president of the Miami chapter of the NAACP is Ruben Roberts, who is with us today to talk about all of those concerns. Such an important conversation. Thank you so much for coming in, giving up a little Sunday for us.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So what is the principal concern here about what has been proposed for Miami Beach and the way that African Americans are treated?
Well, our primary concern is not so much what Mayor Levine is proposing, but the statements that were made by Commissioner Greco and by Commissioner Rosen Gonzalez. And so Commissioner Greco mentioned that they want to ban Urban Beach Week altogether.
Right.
Commissioner Rosen Gonzalez said to give the officers back their bullets and to take off the body cameras.
For the record, she has apologized for that.
Yeah, but those statements, some things when you come out and when you take those statements, you can't really pull them back. You have to understand the history of Miami Beach. My mother had to have an ID to go to work on Miami Beach. So when you make these racially insensitive statements, they have a huge impact on the community. The NAACP is about creating a unified Miami. And what we want to do is find out how we can work with the commissioners and the mayor to find a way to make this an officially sanctioned event on Miami Beach. This is not like any other event that's happening on Miami Beach.
Do you know what I thought was most fascinating about our conversation last week and the reaction to it, and very positive reaction from some, and there were significant number of people who, and we did not talk about race last week, and there are people who absolutely have the overarching perception that it's all about race, and those who, you know, furrowed their eyebrows and said, wait, that we didn't talk about skin color, we talked about crime. How important is this conversation that we are all on the same page perceiving the same information?
Well, let's say this. The mere fact that you call it Urban Beach Week, you're talking about race. All right.
Well, urban is a city, beach is the city.
Yes, but when you hear words like ethnic, urban, certain images come to mind, right? And so maybe not for you, Glenna, but for a lot of folks.
That's what I mean. We all need to be on that same page and understand.
Right.
Yes.
So when we say those things, and this particular weekend in particular is identified as the problematic weekend, when they had shootings at the spring break event where a guy got shot in the chest. You don't see the commissioners coming out making those statements, but for the last 5 years, they've been, or even longer, these things have been coming up about Urban Beach Week.
So,
and excuse me, when Mayor Levine was here last week, he said, look, I'm talking about behavior all year round. We're not looking just at the week where mostly black visitors come, most of whom just want to have a good time like everybody else and obey the law. But it was Commissioner Michael Greco who, in fact, was, I guess, at some point in the discussion, maybe at that meeting on Wednesday, the Miami Beach Commission, where he talked about getting rid of Urban Beach Week. But since there is no organizer and the city doesn't sanction the event, you can't really get rid of it.
Right. How can you bar people from coming to the beach? I mean, again, early on and historically, they were able to do that because of the laws in effect. But everyone has right to access to Miami Beach or anyone else. So we have civil rights laws. Right. As I said earlier, I commend Mayor Levine, and I also commend Chief Oates for the fact that if you look at the number of rates of arrest and incidents, they have increasingly gone down. Chief Oates instituted a policy where you cannot shoot at a car when it's fleeing. and I think it was in 2011 when they shot over 100 rounds into
Yeah.
a car and hit 4 innocent people that were there. Are those the bullets that Rosen wants to give back to the officers? So we want to make sure that we don't make this about a particular group. We all, the NAACP, the Miami-Dade branch of the NAACP, wants our guests that comes to visit Miami Beach and the residents to be in a safe environment. And that's the major issue. It's not about, it shouldn't be about race, it shouldn't be about those things, but it happens to be so because of the way that it's targeted.
Can we put up a little piece of the letter that you and
Sure.
others in your chapter wrote to the Miami Beach mayor this week? This was a particular paragraph that jumped out at me. It would have been so encouraging to instead hear local officials use this event as a springboard for dialogue regarding any number of deep undercurrent issues such as gun violence, illegal access to guns, if such was applicable. And that, I think, and it ends with that would have been the courage of real leadership. And I think what's so interesting about that dialogue is there are other issues on the beach besides Urban Beach Week. Floatopia was one of the events that was banned or wanted to be banned. So what is your advice for law enforcement leadership as a whole to deal with what is an issue, crime, crowds, without making a perception of targeting any one group of people?
Well,
how do you do that?
What we've done in our letter, we've also extended an invitation to the mayor and the commissioners for us to meet the NAACP, the Miami-Dade branch of the NAACP, to meet with them. We'd also like some of our partners to meet as well to talk about some of the solutions that we can have to this problem, this perceivable problem, and make sure that maybe if we had a sanctioned event, when you come over for the wine and food festival, you see the flags up. You see all of the schedule for the different events.
Instead of a sign on the Julia Tuttle Causeway that says we are checking license plate readers, and not exactly a welcome.
Exactly. So if we can find a way to make this more of a sanctioned event and make it more welcoming to the people that are there. Listen, you have over 20,000 people that come. You had two major incidents that happened. You can't paint those 20,000 with the same brush that you paint those two with.
Well, maybe we start right here, right now.
I agree.
Maybe this is the springboard.
I agree.
All right, Mr.
Great to
Roberts,
have you
we're
here.
so
Thanks
glad
so
you came
much.
in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.